Where does excellence come from? A question that has been on my mind for ages. When I was working for Westpac, I had this manager who started her career just like all of us. But after a couple of years, she had to go on a break because she became pregnant, and after that, she had two special children, one after the other. For those people who are moms and dads, you know what it takes to be a parent. And we can't even guess what it takes to be a parent of two special children. She literally dedicated those years of her life to her children, to raise them up into responsible human beings, beautiful human beings. I met her children and they're just gorgeous. After 8 years, when they were ready, she decided to come back to her love, her work. And at that point, she was invited, rather handpicked by someone at a position which made up for all those lost years, rather took her beyond them. She returned as a head of culture and diversity and later went on to become the GM. Whenever I looked at her, I wondered, what does it take to be her? That excellence that she always created around, that she was. She was from the Asian background, just like a lot of us. She had the same language barriers as we all have, coming from Asian countries and wanting to make our mark in the Western countries. The environment at home, the challenges were very different from what was there at the workplace. Yet, she carried herself with grace. And she was an epitome of excellence. I kept wondering what it takes to be as excellent as her. And then one day I realized that she's an avid book reader. Maybe the answer is in the books. So I started raiding the bookstores, thinking that that's where I will learn excellence from. In fact, I became an avid book reader myself, reading one book a week. I was beyond her in the speed of reading. And I kept flipping the pages. I kept reading one book after the other. I got a lot of knowledge. However, nothing happened in my own life because at that point, I was just a learner. I was just a learner in those years. And in 2019, I got an opportunity to go to US to be part of a huge personal development program. I had never ever attended program of such a scale, 6,000 people in the room. And what struck me was those people who were sitting in the front seats, the multimillionaires. Until then, I thought that the people at the top, people who are wealthy, they're not that happy, they're lonely, they don't have great relationships, they just work and have no control over their health. But these people there in the front row, they were chatting, they were giggling, they were cracking jokes, they were in their element. Every single one of them was well dressed. I still remember there were some unique dresses that I had never ever seen, and they carried them so gracefully. But the most important thing that I noticed was that every single one of them looked younger than what they were. How do I know that? Because some of them hopped on the stage to share their stories, and I was surprised to hear about their age. I remember when I landed in Sydney, that was the first thing that I told my husband. You think we look young? I've seen people on stage who look 20 years younger than who they truly are. At that point, I became an excellence enthusiast. I started getting curious about what do they do differently. And I remember going to another program in Fiji where I was observing these people. I was observing these billionaires, this time billionaires in the room. And what is it? How are they speaking? And what kind of questions they are asking? What are they doing in the breaks? How are they carrying themselves? I found myself observing them. I had become an observer. I'd become an enthusiast for excellence by this stage. Again, I was observing it all. I knew it all through the books. And I was, from a distance watching it all, but nothing was getting generated in my life. I was not in the excellence zone. And then the game changed. This was when I decided that I'll go a step forward. I will attend a lot more of those programs, those kind of programs. Every other month, I was traveling to a new place to attend these live programs, talking to these people, interviewing them, getting deep inside their mind to understand what is it that they are doing that the rest of the people are not. And that's where I started finding the answer to how they are playing it full in every single area of their life. If they say that the rich are, if they are spending so much time on wealth generation, on doing their work, some other area of their life would be getting impacted. It is all an assumption. It is all an illusion, because I saw it firsthand. These people were really happy. They had families. They had brought their small children there. They were exposing them to this kind of an environment that I was doing when I was 42, 43 years of age, right? So that is where the golden nugget started coming out. I realized a common theme. Every single person that denoted excellence, that was there at the top. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about the impact that they were creating, including that manager I talked about in Westpac. They all were operating in the unknown zone of their life. They were not looking at a cause and effect relationship. I do this, I get this result. I do this, I get that result. No, they were all operating in I don't know what I don't know. They were constantly trying to understand, trying to explore, trying to do things which are beyond their periphery. They were hungry for that. They were hungry for the unknown zone. And that is where all their excellence was being created. Now, I know it sounds very complex, but let me tell you, in our day-to-day life, what we operate in is arena. That's our battlefield. I know, others know. And let me work on this piece. We stay in that arena, the battlefield, and we keep fighting it day in and day out. That's one thing. The other part that we work on is I know, but others don't know. And in that area, start putting masks, because we know what is it that we don't have, but others don't know. So let's hide it from them. A mask that we put, a facade that we create in our lives. I'm sure each one of you have a facade in some area of your life. Then the third part that we operate on is that is hiding from us is I don't know, but others know. Others know it about me, but I have no idea about it because that is in my blind spot. That is where our growth comes. But you know where the exponential growth comes? It comes from the zone. I don't know and others also don't know. Nobody has a clue about what is there in that zone. If you explore that, if you go on that deep dive within yourself, asking yourself questions, you may not find the answers, but asking questions itself is a big thing. You will get the answers when the right time comes. Asking questions, who am I? Where am I going? Where is all this leading me to? Who do I want to see myself as 5 years from now, 10 years from now? We'll start making sense of that unknown zone. I don't know what I don't know. That is the center of excellence in your life. Operate there. Figure out what is hiding in there. Pull out things from there, and that's where you will be able to see a step up and a step up and a step up, massive step up. This is not growth. This is exponential growth. This is excellence. This is what I notice in that manager. This is what I notice in those multimillionaires. This is what I notice with the billionaires. And this is what I notice with the world champions, CEOs of big companies that I have talked to. Hope this helps for you to dig out your own excellence in your life.